Hey, welcome to 49ers Coast to Coast. It's been a minute. That's Jason Aponte. I'm Grant Cohn. We are broadcasting coast to coast right now, talking about the 49ers. Your backdrop is so nice. I just want to say that. But I'm going to be leveling up my backdrop in a few weeks.
I appreciate that. I mean, it just looks a little bit different because, like I was telling you before, I'm in the process of moving. So, like the table that I was on was a little bit higher. This is like it feels like a therapist couch that I've got here. But I'm just trying to make it work before I move out. So,
hold on, real quick. I was going to set this up because I can't use my banner anymore, even though I still write for SI.com. And I got a bunch of my mom's records, and I was going to put them up, but I'm going to be moving out of here in a couple weeks. So I'm not going to put them up. But I'm going to show them what they are real quick because I'm proud.
Oh, that's the one. That's the one, Shawty, right there.
Absolutely. Little Rick. Let's see what else I got. Oh, no, this is the one.
Oh, wow. What they know about Morris Day, man?
What they know about Morris Day.
Anyway. Prince's enemy.
Anyway, I'm going to get on your level eventually. Now I just got to get my face back. Hold on. Hello. I'm back. All right, let's talk 49ers. Before we get to Deebo, which is just drama that we're speculating about, which is my favorite thing to do, let's do something different. Let's talk about OTAs and minicamp coming up. Which rookie are you most excited about heading into this section of the offseason? Or just in general?
Danny Gray. I mean, I'm a natural wide receiver guy regardless. But again, when I was talking about the draft pick, after it happened, Danny Gray profiles as the one receiver that the 49ers haven't had since Marquise Goodwin in terms of being able to take the top of a defenses. And that's why I loved your comp when you talked about seeing him, because that's the first time the 49ers have had somebody like that. They've had guys that were fast-ish, not fast in that way that can actually blow the top of a defense. So Danny Gray used situationally, I believe, one, gives them the deep threat that they haven't had for a long time, but two, signifies a little bit of the change towards Trey Lance, because yes, Danny Gray can catch passes, yards after the catch, and Jimmy Garoppolo can hit him on a slant and he'll take it. But that, for me, signifies, yes, we are turning this over to Trey Lance. We are going to see a shift in personnel and things that will play to Trey Lance's strengths. So that's what has me excited for him and this next step and to see what's going on with Trey when he starts this year.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. I think Danny Gray is the rookie that most fans are most excited about. And I went from being skeptical of the pick at all, like, when they made the pick and just watching him on tape, I'm like, I don't know if this guy's going to contribute his rookie year. Just one rookie minicamp practice, I'm like, looks like he could be like the number 3 receiver. Like he could split time with Juwan Jennings because clearly he's fast. Like that translates. And he made 4 catches in camp. They won down the sideline with his hands above his head. I mean, he won in all different ways. Over the middle, he's going to catch the ball with his chest. I don't know if he'll ever be like a starting wide receiver, but at the end of round 3, if you get like a quality deep threat number 3 guy, that's a good draft pick.
Yeah, and situationally, Juwan Jennings is still going to be that guy on third down, third and short, red zone, that type of guy. But if it's 3rd and 17, you're not going to line up Juwan Jennings at the 3 slot. You would have Danny Gray there to at least one, maybe open something for somebody on the back end, which we saw Brandon Ayuk do largely last year when he was in the doghouse early on in terms of running clear outs and then having Deebo run that drift underneath him so he can be wide open. So I think that it situationally sets up perfectly for both of them, but it does have the room for growth where if Danny Gray shocks us and becomes a every down receiver or somebody who's very impactful, and we'll see a shift of personnel to more 3 wide receivers. That's not really what Kyle likes to do, but there's still room for him to grow. But right now he definitely has a role, especially situationally on down and distance.
I'm so glad that you brought up Brandon Ayuk because I had this thought too. I mean, I'm watching Danny Gray. He's a split end. He's already said, like, I'm here to play X. Well, that's sort of what Brandon Ayuk does too. And when they drafted Danny Gray, I'm thinking, man, they had to make this pick because they have to have a potential replacement. If Deebo Samuel, that situation. Actually, it seems more like this is a replacement down the line for Brandon Ayuk if Ayuk gets too expensive and they can't afford him and Deebo and yada, yada, yada. Like, hey, Brandon, you don't like running clear out routes? Danny, you're up. So, Brandon, you might want to start liking, although you can't run as fast as Danny Gray, so maybe he should just run those clear out routes. I've seen the difference.
Yeah, and maybe that's true. I can't speculate as far as that goes, but in terms of right. In terms of how he fits right now, I see the fit, and I also see the room for growth. And if he does grow a little bit, then you're talking about a round 3 guy that can step in and be an every down guy. That I think that's the goal for them, and it will just make them more versatile. So again, the 49ers have done pretty much this almost every draft where they have guys that may compete right away, but kind of down the line they're waiting for guys to develop, right? And I think that's kind of where they see Danny Gray at.
I just liked his practice. He got 5 targets. He won in 4 different ways. The first target was a slant. He dropped it. It was good press coverage from Tariq Castro-Fields. After that, he won on a quick out. He won on a fade up the sideline. He won on a deep post for a touchdown. And he won on a dig against Sam Womack. Like, okay. I mean, AJ Jenkins never had a freaking practice like that in his life. Maybe Dante Pettis did, but I didn't see it. So very encouraging for a guy you took. What was it, the 15th wide receiver drafted? I mean,
I think so.
Roughly. So that's I can see why Niner fans are so encouraged. Anytime I make videos of the rookies, people want to hear about Danny Gray. Who is the rookie you're most concerned about? And it's way too early to actually use the word concerned. Are
we talking about draft picks or undrafted free agents as well too? That's anybody that's a kid.
Yeah, you could be concerned about an undrafted free agent. And again, it's way too early to be concerned. These are unfounded concerns.
Yeah, it's funny because as the draft went on, I felt much better about the draft picks because if at first you didn't get it, when you start to put things together, you start to figure out the vision for them, right? Like Tariq Castro-Fields, I think he is more of a safety than he is. Okay. Womack is somebody that I kind of looked at and said, huh? And then you think about it, he's kind of nickel. Like he literally, his measurables and his size, they mirror K'Wan Williams. He's just a little bit faster. And so it feels like the natural replacement, right? I'm more concerned about the undrafted free agents. And it's one guy in particular, I think that 49er fans have like enamored themselves with.
Oh, this is a good call. Yeah, do it. Yes. Say this.
Leon O'Neal is the guy. And
you know what? Because he has a chip on his shoulder. He's the one guy with the chip on his shoulder, Jason.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, 49er fans fell in love with him. He's an infectious personality. I understand that. And this has little.
And they'd heard of him before the draft, right?
Right.
He was on their radar.
And he was in the SEC. Was one of the highest rated safeties by PFF. That's great. Yeah. I'm not necessarily talking about his skills. What I think is I think that this draft was so well done by the 49ers and the undrafted free agents because Donovan West is almost a lock to make the 53 when you look at his contract. $10,000 up front, $100,000 guaranteed. That's not a throwaway player. So Donovan West is going to make this team. There are going to be good players that aren't going to make this roster. And it's not going to be because they're not good. It's just there's only a certain amount of places that you can put people. And you can't hide everyone on the practice squad because then they can get clean. So in terms of me being concerned, I have concerns that Leon O'Neal sticks because George Odom's a lock. Hufanga's a lock. I think they believe in Tavares more. There's 3 guys that are in that extra spot where Jimmy Ward, is mirroring, is across from. So I'm not concerned because I don't think he's a good ball player. I just think that there's only so many places that guys can stick, and I don't think they're going to get rid of any of the linemen for Leon O'Neal.
Fair. That's a good one. I'm going to go with Ty Davis-Price, and I'm going to use the caveat like it's early, and I'm not good at judging running backs in practice. So I watched him in 7-on-7. Okay, that's not football. But I guess like the book on him is that he's a really hard runner, big, tough runner. I mean, I expect that's going to be true. I'm sort of looking like, is there more? You took him in round 3. I guess usually where you're looking for like a 3-down running back, hopefully someone who can start and stay on the field. And I know he's supposed to be a hell of a blocker, but just first impression, doesn't look like he trusts his hands. Like he can catch warming up, but once you got him in a 7-on-7, he will drop stuff like wide open. I don't know. That was kind of the book on him. And then just comparing him to the undrafted free agent running back, Jordan Mason. I mean, he doesn't look that much faster than Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason ran like a 4.58. I know this guy, Ty Davis-Price, ran a 4.48, but he dropped like a cool 15 pounds to do it. I just was kind of hoping to be a little bit. The first time I saw Deebo on the field, I'm like, damn, yeah, that's a real NFL athlete. I see it. Ayuk. Maybe it's easier at wide receiver, but him, I'm skeptical. I guess I'm just saying I'm skeptical with Ty Davis-Price.
Yeah, and I think that if you're going to have any negatives towards his game, it would be in the pass game. Not pass protection, right? That's going to be something that's there. And I don't necessarily think that that's going to be how they automatically utilize him. Sure, that's concerning because you kind of want to hit people with element of surprise. And Jeff Wilson caught passes here and there, especially when the situation dictated and it was right. So you do want him to be able to catch passes.
Famously, 2019 to win the game against Arizona. Exactly. Pass over his head from Jimmy Garoppolo. True.
Exactly. There you go. So with Ty Davis, it's more that I feel like this draft pick was, this is your bruiser. This is your guy down the stretch that if like at the end of games, you can get like tough yards. And you're kind of pitching this guy to Deebo like, hey, man,
you don't have to do this because he was the bruiser, right? Mm-hmm. You was the big dude. Yep. He wasn't just the Mostert. You were the bruiser as well.
Right. So you look, I think that your concerns are more about the track record with running backs in the third round. We don't know what Trey Sermon is. He was in the third round. Joe Williams, we don't like to say his name around here. He was in the third round. Does he fall into that sort of category where we look back a year later and we're either skeptical or he's just not playable? We don't know what Trey Sermon is. I still haven't necessarily closed the book on him. Last year wasn't encouraging. For whatever reason, I'm still of the mind that something happened behind the scenes that nobody's talking about, whether it's being late to a meeting or maybe not understanding the playbook fast enough, something, right? I don't think the guy is awful, but I think the skepticism comes from the other third-round running backs that were taken, and you just took one last year, and now you're doubling down and taking another one this year. So I think we now have a historical precedent with Kyle Shanahan in drafts. Third round, get ready to get a running back at this point. I mean, this is 3 out of 5 years that they've done something like this, back-to-back years. So I think the skepticism comes more from, will this third-round running back break the mold of these other two, as opposed to his skill set, which I think he is a little bit sneaky faster than people give him credit to. Like, it takes him a little while to get to his top speed, but when he gets to it, he's pretty fast. Yes. But the pass pro thing is good. But again, you got to see it happen in games. So I'm with you at least on that point.
I guess I'm holding him to a higher standard. I'm like, well, based on where you drafted him, I'm expecting him to have some like potential in the pass game. And I think that's why they took Trey Sermon last year. Because if you watch Trey Sermon in practice, he's a decent route runner. He's big. He has long arms. He has good hands. He trusts him. That's not Ty Davis Price at all. So maybe the Niners are like, look, we just wanted a rotational guy in our committee who runs a certain way. And if we get that, we're happy. And if at that level, fine. If that's all they wanted, then I think they'll probably get it. Because I think they were hoping for more with Trey Sermon. They're like, man, you don't even run hard. Like, can we just get someone who runs hard, please? Please.
Right, and has the potential to stay healthy just in case. Elijah Mitchell, while they turned it over to him, I felt it was less a historical change in terms of how Shanahan uses backs and more of a need. That's why you saw Deebo a little bit more. A little bit of my thing with Deebo is a little bit of that feels like they were trying to curtail his receiving yards so they can come back to the table and say, hey, you were on pace for whatever, here's what you got. But also it was out of necessity. Like, you definitely needed to have that guy, that game breaker, and that's what they were kind of missing. So I think Ty Davis Price just profiles as a guy who can get it done, move the chains here and there, and just stay healthy and not force them to rely on Trey Sermon or I think Jermichael Hasty is the one that's on the bubble, right? Or Deebo. Like, I think Jermichael Hasty's on the bubble. I think that Jeff Wilson's got to watch his back a little bit too now. So and who knows? Maybe Jeff Wilson coming off that injury, maybe this year he'll have his explosion back, be a little bit better, but it's just, it feels like you said, insurance and being able to rely on somebody for a little bit more than just, hey, 1 or 2 carries per game or 3 or 4.
I do like the Ty Davis Price pick in the sense that he's different than the rest of the running backs on the team. And it's like, because Kyle used to be the guy like, I want a committee of 4 running backs who are 195 pounds and are all exactly the same. He's way different now. He's evolved. Mm-hmm. And that's a good thing. I guess I'm just saying, though, like, just after watching one practice with the guy, I don't think he's going to be starting over Elijah Mitchell. And again, I'm a terrible judge of running backs in practice, but just looking at the athletes, like, I'll probably still go with Elijah Mitchell at this case. And maybe fans are expecting, third round draft pick running back, he's going to start. I don't know about that. I think he'll probably just be part of the committee as a rookie.
I don't think so either. And I wasn't necessarily as high on Elijah Mitchell. Like, Elijah Mitchell had an incredible year this year, but still, I mean, I think he's still got to be the starter for a little bit. But you also have to be able to keep him healthy because he got injured 3 times. And he's not that guy that worked
like the whole time.
Yes. So, you have to keep him healthy.
That's true. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Deebo. There's been radio silence with Deebo since the draft. The Niners made their statement. We're not trading you. Deebo's like, okay, let's put a couple Niners stuff back on my Instagram and make it seem like everything's copacetic. Ever since then, nothing. But minicamp's coming up in 2 weeks. If he doesn't go, he gets fined $93,000, which I don't know if that's a lot of money to him. Might be. It's a lot of money. Do you think he's going to show up to? I wrote training camp. I meant minicamp. Do you think he's going to show up?
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Minicamp, I would say no, but that doesn't necessarily, for me, make me think that a deal's not imminent or that they won't work it out. I just think, look, Fred Warner did it last year, right? Fred Warner came to camp, minicamp, and he worked, and he wasn't on the side, right? Like, but I don't think it's fair to correlate those two guys, and I don't think that one necessarily makes the other guy look selfish or anything like that. Again, he's just doing whatever it is that he thinks is best. I don't think he's going to be there. And honestly, if I was him, I wouldn't, especially with with everything that's happened this entire time. For him to show up to camp and just all of a sudden be like, yeah, I'm all in, everything. That doesn't fit everything that's happened right now with Deebo Samuel. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to hold it against him personally, but I don't think he's going to show up. And I feel with the new CBA, you can't waive the fines, but once the deal gets done, I'm pretty sure the 49ers will at least reimburse him for the fines or find a way to get it to him in some way. So, I don't think he's going to be there, but
they'll give him an extra $93,000. They'll give an extra $93,000 in his eventual extension.
Something like that. I mean, they'll find a way to, they'll find a way to throw something in there where it's like if he has 5 carries in 3 games, you get like $90,000. Yeah, something like that. That makes sense. I'm not necessarily as worried about that, and I don't think that him not showing up to minicamp signifies, oh my God, he's not going to sign. I just think it's the nature of the business, and I think that he's just doing what's best for him.
Right. I just want to prepare the general 49er fan because
chill.
Nothing's happening
chill
right
out.
now. Nothing's happening right now. Niner fans are all like, hey, he's coming back. He's coming back. He's probably not going to show up to minicamp. And the Niner fans are going to be like, oh my God, who could have seen this coming? Why didn't anyone tell me this was going to happen? I'm mad at Deebo. Like, hold on. Like, just because nothing's happening now, this is going to keep bubbling up and it's not over. And it's going to go down to the wire.
100%. And again, that's it. I guess that's the general message. Chill out. He's not going to minicamp, but chill out. That's not going to mean anything to me. And you shouldn't view him any differently just because Fred Warner acts like that. Fred Warner's a different guy. Fred Warner has different ways that he thinks about things. So I wouldn't read too far into it.
Different agent.
But and also 49er fans tend to freak out pretty quickly. So just chill.
I still don't think that Deebo's like in his lab, you know what I mean, on the computer at the whiteboard being like, and then calling up Tory Dandy, like, all right, Tory, here's what we're gonna do. It's not, he's paying Tory Dandy to figure that out. And then when Tory figures out, he's like, hey, thank you, man. That's why I pay you. Tory's good.
Exactly.
He's not messing around here.
No. And it's part of the plan. That's it. It's part of the plan. The AJ Brown thing the AJ Brown deal kind of felt like that was part of the plan too, trying to see what they could get for him. And now that's kind of laid good groundwork for Deebo. And I think that deal is way more encouraging than anything in terms of getting the deal done with Deebo. So I would not bat an eye about him going to minicamp. I would think that he's just doing what's best for him, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the sky is falling at all and that he won't be back. I'm still putting my money on him signing the deal.
That's funny. Like I'm pretending to like do this topic as like a public service for 49er fans. Don't freak out, but really I'm doing this as a content creator thinking about like when do I
freak them out?
When do I get to cash in on the Deebo drama again? 2 weeks. All right, training. It's possible he won't come to the first couple of days of training camp, right? Maybe he'll miss the first few days of training camp.
Or he'll do the Jalen Ramsey thing. Hold in, show up. Oh, my leg hurts. I can't really play today. Like, and you can't find him, right? So that and again, there's twists, there's turns. It's gonna happen, though, guys. I promise you guys, it'll happen.
Deebo, I'm not mad at you. Do what you got to do. We all got to eat out here, all right? Justin E says Jordan Mason is a bruiser too. See, here's what I'm thinking. Watching Ty Davis-Price and Jordan Mason on the same field. Again, I'm a terrible judge of running backs. I just felt Mason has the natural hands. Mason's a little bit more smooth. Ty Davis-Price is supposed to be just running people over. We'll see in preseason. But Jordan Mason, hey, watch his highlights at Georgia Tech. That dude doesn't mess around. He's a tough runner.
The thing is this. People were so mad about Elijah Mitchell being in the 6th round, playing over the 3rd round guy. You're going to do it again with an undrafted free agent? So why don't you just take your 3rd round pick and set it on fire now at this point every single time? And that's what's really going to be the frustrating part. 3rd round guys, okay? Well, let's talk about 3rd round guys. And the 49ers in 2019 drafted Nick Bosa, can't miss at number 2, drafted Deebo Samuel, and then they drafted Jalen Hurd with Terry McLaurin on the board. Don't tell me 3rd round picks are not valuable, guys. So for you to just say, well, it's cool, we'll just let this undrafted free agent. Why are you burning 3rd round picks and just saying, well, this guy's not usable after 3 games. Well, this guy's not usable after training camp.
I have a theory. Because Kyle's really good, all right? But Kyle spreads himself thin. And as a scout, he's even said it. He's like, look, I don't know who these guys are until January. He said that. I've heard him say that. I don't know who they are until January. So he just
usually the team is playing deep into the season.
So. No doubt. No, that's great, man. But like real scouts, real personnel people know who these players are, like coming out of high school. So what happens is Kyle, he does his work. He's smart, but he falls in love with someone. It's Joe Williams, it's Trey Sermon. He's looking for a specific type of running back, and the whole organization is. He gets his draft crush. They take him in round 3. Then the scouting department takes the same type of running back later in the draft or as an undrafted free agent. And that guy is always better than the guy Kyle finds. It's like, oh, you want a speedster? I like Joe Williams. We like Matt Breida. Guess what? Matt Breida is better. Oh, last year, guess what? Elijah Mitchell's better than Trey Sermon. This year, I'm just saying, don't be surprised because it's the same mold of running back. The bruised 223 pounds. He's got the scouting department and probably the assistant coaches and Kyle. And Kyle just watches tape. He's like, damn, he went for 287 against Florida. Boom. Because Trey Sermon went for 331 against Northwestern, and Joe Williams went. He just watches like the guy's best game. I swear, man. Kyle and his dad, they need to freaking delegate their scouting. Seriously. I know they think they know what they're looking for, but you just you can't put in the hours, dude. It's a 24/7 job. It's 24.
And the best players should always play. That, and it doesn't matter about draft capital, because if that's the case, then you're just going to keep playing guys just because you said you got it. But for me, it's less about that and more about what is your process in this third round. At this point, trade your third rounder for a player that you know is going to work and doesn't have to necessarily be a running back if you're just going to go ahead and crown the undrafted free agent or take the 6th round guy who eventually balls out, right? Like in the third round, here's my thinking. In the third round last year, the 49ers allowed the Denver Broncos to trade up, and they took Javonte Williams. If the 49ers had Javonte Williams last year, Elijah Mitchell doesn't need to be picked in the 6th round and doesn't play.
Yeah.
So again, you can't miss on those first 3-round picks. And again, draft's a crapshoot. We get it. As you go through round after round, the likelihood of you hitting on picks drops further and further. 4th, 5th round, 6th round guys, they don't usually make teams. We get it. But it's like the just lighting of the 3rd round pick just on fire, basically. Just like
CJ Beathard. If the Niners are just gonna let Kyle Shanahan like really be wasteful with that 3rd round pick and do whatever with it, why is it so important to get a 3rd round comp pick for Jimmy? Like you waste that pick every year, unless his name is Fred Warner. And that was not a Kyle pick. I bet you that was not a Kyle pick.
That I can't speculate on, but now we're talking, right? Like, and when you look at the likelihood in the 3rd round that you hit on guys, it's like even in the 1st round, even some of the most loaded draft classes, 1st round, you still have a 35-40% chance to hit on anything in the 1st round. Most of those guys don't make impacts like that either.
But in the 3rd round, what is this regime's track record? I mean, they got Fred Warner, that's a hit. Other than him, they got
Joe Williams.
Joe Williams was early 4th, but
oh, okay.
It's okay. Because I was a big Joe Williams fan coming. He beat UCLA.
Trey Sermon.
Ambry Thomas, Akello Witherspoon
CJ?
hadn't. Huh? CJ. I mean, really, how impactful is this 3rd round pick that the Niners are waiting to get?
It's funny. It's funny. The joke that is always thrown around about the draft is let the draft start in the 5th round for the Niners. That's where they find their guys. Yeah,
because that's when the scouts are allowed to actually do their work. I'm so sorry, but I have a feeling that Kyle has, total veto power in this organization. He has some draft crushes every year, kind of like Al Davis used to, and he's like, I get my guy. And they're like, okay, fine, it's your team. And then they're like,
baby?
Can we pick now?
Mitch Wisnowski in the 4th. Again, in this 3rd and 4th round range, like it's just like, come on.
That's a Kyle pick. Gotta be. I'm sorry. All the picks that make you go like, wow, people wouldn't normally do that. Yeah, because Kyle thinks he's like, whatever. Like CJ Beathard in the 3rd. But I need a backup quarterback. Like, great.
Kyle just gets on the phone, send in the pick.
Make it happen. All right. Why? This is crazy. The Niners talk about Trey Lance. The players talk about Trey Lance. When asked, Kyle talks about Trey. They have nice things to say, but then they're like marketing team. I don't know who they're taking cues from. They just won't acknowledge Trey Lance. You get a season ticket package, he's not in there. You walk around the stadium, nothing. No pictures of him. You still see Jimmy Garoppolo's face. Now, maybe they haven't gotten around to changing stuff, but like, what is that? How is he the guy who must not be named?
That's a really good question, but I do think that it has a lot to do with inside the stadium that they haven't gotten around to changing that stuff.
I'm sure.
Because I definitely have a feeling that all that stuff is going to be Trey after a while.
I would hope so. But yeah, I'm with you.
Right. And then as far as what they're marketing right now, I mean, call me crazy, but I think that they're still just trying to be nice to Jimmy Garoppolo in some way.
Okay.
Right? Like, and not I guess, damage the relationship any further. I'm just speculating here. Now I'm really just throwing shit at the wall now at this point when it comes to this, because I have no idea.
Let's get every possible theory out there because I don't get it. So that's a good one.
I have no idea.
Piss off Jimmy Garoppolo further. Although I think every day that they don't cut him is pissing off Jimmy Garoppolo further. I think I would imagine that him and his agent have long talks at night on the phone. Like, can you fucking believe the Niners didn't cut you? They didn't spend any caps. They could have spent $27 million on their team. And they were like, nah, fuck Jimmy. Let's just be hella petty. Like, I can't believe it happened. I can't believe it happened.
A little bit about the Jimmy thing. So I had the doc from 95.7 The Game on my channel, actually.
Dr. Narav?
I asked him. Yes, amazing guy,
super great,
amazing guy. Anybody who hasn't seen this episode on my channel, please check it out. Informative stuff about Mike McGlinchey, Jason Verrett, all of them. But we talked Jimmy Garoppolo and his injury, and I said, Doc, the top tier guys, let's say Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, any of these guys have this same sort of injury, and a team is looking to trade for them. Do they hesitate in the way that they have now? And he goes, absolutely not. And he goes, you know why? He goes, you know why? Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't win the same ways that he does. The shoulder injury affects the one thing that you can kind of grasp that Jimmy does well: accuracy, short-term stuff, right? Like quick game. Now, if he can't do that, what is Jimmy Garoppolo doing?
He won't even look deep. Yeah.
Yes. So he pointed to Cam Newton. He said, Cam Newton won an MVP, right? And he was never known as an accurate quarterback. The shoulder surgery zapped what little accuracy he had left from that. So there's plenty of teams that are looking at him like, we need to see you throw the football because we are not investing any draft capital in a guy that, if you are not accurate over the middle or quick timing throws, what do you do?
Okay. So, all right.
That's the part.
Let's put Jimmy on the back burner for a second because we're going to talk about Jimmy next. And the reason we got here is the theory is they're trying to be nice to Jimmy. Okay, maybe. What are other theories though? Because another theory that, like, you know, anti-Trey Lance people would go to is that the Niners still aren't sold on Trey and they're scared. That kind of stuff, right? I mean, Chris Sims is saying that.
Maybe they just don't want to put, and I don't even know how
they don't want to put pressure on him.
Right.
They don't want to put pressure on him. Okay.
I don't even necessarily believe that this is somewhat putting pressure because the kid knows what's in front of him, right? And it doesn't matter whether he's on the season tickets or they're plastering his face there. He still knows what the gravity of the situation, what's in front of him. But maybe the 49ers are just like, you know, when you put out something like the future, the franchise, and like it's just like you're doing something that a lot of people want to see, which is staking your claim to the kid, but
you're also anointing him.
Yeah. Exactly.
And like, isn't it sort of like the opposite? Isn't that what the Jets are doing with Zach Wilson?
And the Bears are trying to do with Justin Fields, and
you're out there in Jersey,
right?
How's it going with Zach Wilson? It's like the Niners and it's like Kyle and Saleh are doing the exact opposite with their young quarterbacks, right? It's hard to say that Saleh's way is working.
Their marketing of Zach Wilson has tricked the national media into believing that Zach Wilson is in a better situation than Trey Lance is.
It's true. But if you go to the Jets Instagram, it's just Zach Wilson. They started him right away. He was freaking terrible. They went with it. Doesn't mean that's going to work. I mean, he could be announced a bust midway through his second year, right? So we don't know. I mean, with Trey Lance, that's not going to happen if Kyle Shanahan keeps hiding him, if Jimmy Garoppolo sticks around.
So again, we're just really theorizing at this point. But for me, it just seems like the marketing team isn't putting out, you know, the future, the franchise, even though we all know that that's what it is. And that's what he knows himself. But I don't know what it is about them not anointing him, like self-proclaiming, right? Like, you know how they say you can't give yourself a nickname, you have to earn it and stuff. It's like, don't put that kid in a spot where it's like, man, his first full year starting, he's immediately going to take off. There's going to be bumps and bruises this year, regardless. Like, it's just going to happen. He's literally starting his first few games, you know? So it's a lot to say automatically the franchise.
Here's why I think they won't acknowledge him. I think this is the main reason. I still think they're holding on to this trade fantasy for Jimmy. Yeah, and I still think the whole organization is telling itself, we can't bench Jimmy until we trade him. We can say Trey's the starter, but Jimmy's a starter too. We can't say Jimmy's the number 2 quarterback because then the value goes from whatever to a third to a sixth or whatever. So I don't think there is any value, but in their minds, they think he's worth at least a third. And then it goes. So what they're going to say is, yeah, we believe in Trey, and but what they're doing is no pictures of Trey, no pictures of Jimmy. It's the same treatment. We don't have a quarterback this year. They're on equal ground until they're gone. And what I'm afraid of is that this is going to drag on. It's going to drag on, and they're not going to make a decision, and they're going to both be the starter, and they're going to split reps, and it's going to be bad. But I don't know. We're going to talk about that next. What's up with Jimmy? But to me, they're trying to ride the fence on this one for perception's sake, for the trade.
And the closest thing they've said to anything definitive was Kyle Shanahan at the owners' meeting, and he said, "Yeah, we're comfortable with Trey starting. That's why we look to trade Jimmy." He's like, "But you just don't give guys away." And then that's him again. Kind of telling you, but then going back and being able to say something nice about Jim. It's like the compliment sandwich, right? Like, you know how your boss brings you in, they tell you something nice, they tell you what you need to work on, then they tell you something nice. So you walk out of there feeling good. So nobody necessarily feels like they got shitted on or anything like that, like at all. So again, that's the closest they've gotten to saying anything definitive about Trey moving forward. But that's the part that I choose to focus on.
The best part about all this is the Niners are going to publicly ignore Trey Lance for a year and a half. Way too long. Also, they can trade Jimmy Garoppolo for like a 3rd round pick, maybe, which they'll spend on another running back. That's going to be what's going to happen. And it's going to be so funny to me. Like, really? You drag this whole thing out so you could just take another running back in round 3. You know? Love it.
If you get that 3rd rounder for Jimmy, because it's going to be a high 3rd rounder because Carolina's not going to win any games. That's the only place that I could see this happening. You better package it to move up in your draft.
Don't stay in the 3rd round and take the next Jalen Hurd, Kyle.
No.
Do it.
No. Move up.
Take someone who's really good except for they have a bunch of knee problems. I think you should try. You've had a lot of success. Come on. Exactly. Like, if you really drag this Jimmy Garoppolo thing out 2 years, you better get something just terrific with the return. Make it worth it. You better.
But a running back.
People don't forget.
Another running back.
Sean O'Leary says the Niners are just a classic example of not recognizing sunk cost. Just cut Jimmy, take the hit, and be free of him. Free up some cash in the final pieces and clear the deck for Trey. Yeah, man, it's like the Rams. If they could have done that with Jared Goff, they would have. They traded him because they had to.
And they ate the money.
And they ate the money.
They were like, screw it. We'll pay you to get him out of here. And look at them. They won a Super Bowl. Damn it.
What I like about the Rams is they're owned by billionaires, but it really does seem like their attitude is like, fuck it. Like, we want to make money, but we also want to win. So we're going to spend whatever it takes. The Niners attitude is like, yeah, we want to win, but we also have like 40 investments. We're venture capitalists. Our business is making money. We're not going to do anything irresponsible. Like, do something fucking irresponsible. You're in a division of a team that does irresponsible shit. This organization was founded on doing irresponsible shit back in the 80s. Like, how are you going to turn around and be like, we are totally compliant with the cap? It's like, great, man. Wonderful. Give Parag another medal.
It's okay to take swings.
I know.
You swing and miss, right? Like, it's okay. And look at the Rams, man. Look at the Rams.
Sleepy One 1414 says you can't market a backup quarterback, meaning the Niners don't know who their starter is. They didn't market Deebo on tickets. Is he going to be there? They don't know. That's true. They also didn't put Deebo in their tickets.
Well, to be fair, he's still not necessarily there. So it would be weird to do that at this point, to automatically assume that, because let's say things go completely south and you trade Deebo and then all of a sudden you're looking at a ticket with 19 on it. You're like, what the hell were they thinking? They maybe got ahead of themselves. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of truth to that.
And like, I don't know if it's coordinated. Like, Kyle goes to the marketing, like knocks on the door. It's like, hey, don't put Deebo or any quarterbacks in the pictures. I think it's just kind of understood. And that, to me, this is sort of a reflection of the mood and attitude in the organization. Like, no one knows what's up with Deebo. That's kind of a mystery. Even the people there. No one knows who the quarterback's going to be, even the people in the marketing department. So they're just like, why don't we sidestep that one until there's some clarity? Because I don't want to get in trouble.
And don't fan the flames of it, right? Like, have him on there, and then all of a sudden, like, it's you can be confident and still not at the end of the day know for a fact that it's going to get done. So I think that's actually okay.
Because Kyle doesn't know for a fact it's going to get done with Deebo Samuel, right? No one knows.
He thinks he can repair the you know, and at this point
he hasn't done it yet.
But Deebo's back is to the wall. There's not much that he can do without damaging like his accrued years and any of those things. So it's getting to a point where he tried his hand, he played it, it didn't work. The 49ers called his bluff, And now the 49ers are back in the same spot. Like, man, here's your deal. Like, you're going to have to take it and play. So,
yeah. Sticking with Trey Lance, Jimmy's not going to be practicing in OTAs and minicamp, which means for the first time ever, Trey Lance will have all the first team reps. He didn't get that last year. He was with the second team. He was thrown to Trent Sherfield. That's why everyone was raving about Trent Sherfield. He gets the first team reps. What do you think reasonable expectations should be for Lance? I mean, most fans won't be able to see, no fans will be able to see this, but you all read the same reports. What do you think, what standards should fans and media hold this kid to now?
Show that command and be able to have that team look at you and realize that you're the guy, even at your young age. I mean, everybody's raved about his smarts and his confidence. What I was able to see at camp while I was there, what you saw was a guy who, even when he overthrew somebody or maybe didn't make a correct read, he didn't hang his head. He went right back in there and kept firing. And that's something that is very encouraging for somebody his age. So show that you can command that offense, show that those guys believe in you, and start working on the things that everybody's criticizing you about. Long windup, long stride. Can you hit intermediate passes in stride? All of those things. I think it's less about him making eye-opening plays, because we've seen it happen in camp. You've seen it in games. You've seen it in preseason. It's more about the little things that they want him to work on, the things that Kyle wants him to be really good at, the things that remember, Grant.
It's true.
Camp opens, Trey Lance is flying out of the gate. Why? Because he's doing things 49er fans have never seen done for a long time. Making plays over the field using his legs. So what does Kyle Shanahan do to kind of bring it closer? All right, now I want you to do things that Jimmy Garoppolo's good at. Make that short pass. Make this short pass. Make this good read in between two guys. That is the type of stuff that brings the competition back. So you can't really go ahead and just say, Trey's our starter, or he outplayed Jimmy, right? So it's not that.
All those throws you're making outside the pocket, don't do that anymore.
Don't do that anymore. No, we want you in structure now. We want you in structure hitting this and that. And that's not my opinion. Grant was there. I was there. This is how you bring the competition back.
All of a sudden, also all that play action we were doing, all that move in the pocket we were doing. No, shotgun.
Nope. Pre-snap diagnose and get the ball out quick, real fast. And they were trying to get him to work on those things.
And I was like, hey, if you're having a quarterback competition, shouldn't you set up one of your guys for success? And everyone's like, no, he needs to work on what he's not good at. It's like, okay, well, he's still better than Jimmy doing the stuff he's not good at. He's still better than Jimmy. Yeah.
And then think about this. The second string offensive line is in front of him. So they're not blocking well. Things are collapsing around him faster. Yep. Okay. So this is how you bring things.
Going to Richie James Jr.
Right. You're throwing passes
Travis
to
Benjamin.
Muhammad Sanu and Travis Benjamin. And
no, he didn't even have Sanu. Sanu was entrenched with the starters at that. He had Jawan Jennings. God love him. And Ross Dwelly. God love him. Doing the Lord's work.
But yeah, so for me, it's about, can you do the things that Kyle made you work on last year while he was able to pivot to Jimmy Garoppolo and say, see, the kid's not ready?
Can I just point out that I really think there's nothing he can do to please fans? Because last year, look, it was just my charting, but I'm pretty good. I've been doing it for a while. But according to my count, he completed 69% of his passes in training camp. And it wasn't good enough for people. It was not good enough. Jimmy completed 63 and threw 11 touchdowns, 11 picks. People were like, got to go with the vet. He just looked so good. So it's a lot like how Trey Lance does stuff. He kind of has to be flawless, I think, to really get the whole fan base behind him.
The issue is this, is there are the people that are logical that are going to sit there and say, these are the first real glimpses that you're going to see of extended gameplay of Trey, and there's going to be some bumps and bruises. But then there's the other fans. Oh, we're a Super Bowl roster, and look at Jimmy took us to the NFC Championship, and if Trey doesn't do that, stop it. Stop it. And Jimmy didn't take you anywhere. Jimmy was the quarterback of the team. So just think about it logically. The problem is so many 49er fans are starved because they got so close again, right? They were so close to being in championship. And realistically, it could take maybe 10 or 15% increase in play in quarterback play, and they would be right where they need to be. But there's going to be bumps and bruises. You guys have to really – all right, the Chargers practices. Let's talk about that, Grant.
Yep, we were there.
Chargers practices. Okay, we were there. Trey's making plays with his legs. He's making nice plays. The Chargers were laughing at Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy Garoppolo threw a pick in the end zone.
In the red zone. Derwin James.
It was like sitting right in front of him.
Or it's Sandy Samuel, right?
Yeah.
And Derwin James and them, they're all laughing on the sideline.
It was Derwin. You're right.
They're like, they pay him all this money. And that's what.
We're paying those boys too much in San Francisco, I think was a direct quote.
Yeah. So don't tell me what the 49ers players believe about Jimmy, because I don't care. That's what the league is telling you about what people think about Jimmy Garoppolo. And again, we're not making any of this up. None of this is made up. It felt like that quote got swept under the rug. And that was the thing that when I spoke to you after practice, when I spoke to, the other people that were there, they all corroborated that story, that they were laughing at Jimmy Garoppolo. And I said, because the book is out. Everyone knows. I don't care what the 49ers players say. What are they supposed to say? Of course they're behind their guy. Of course that's their guy. But the league, that's how they look at Jimmy Garoppolo.
When you practice against Jimmy, after a while, you start to realize that every throw is an opportunity for interception. And you start getting greedy. And you start to see coaches jumping up and down like, oh my God, here we go. I'm just saying. That's how it goes. So
Fred Warner was eating.
But here's the thing. So it's going to be tough for Trey to win over the fans in practices that they can't see because they love Jimmy. They know Jimmy. What he needs to do is win over the players and the coaches. And so I don't know. Again, I don't know if you can do that while Jimmy's still on the roster. But if he goes out there and lights it up, everyone's going to be like, all right, okay. It looks good. I think Patrick Mahomes was able to do that to an extent in practices with the Chiefs. I think that team kind of felt it and knew it. I think Trey Lance has an opportunity to do that. Just show him that not only do you have command, but it's just going to be so much more explosive. And that while everyone's friends with Jimmy Garoppolo, they can be friends with him in their off time.
Even go back to the practice reports of Mahomes. Mahomes was throwing interception after interception.
That is true. But I remember that.
Yeah. And you're practicing though. You're trying to figure things out, right? So that's why it wasn't so crazy to jump out the window if Jimmy Garoppolo did it because you're trying things out, right? Okay.
Oh my God. If Trey throws picks, they're gonna crush him, dude.
Right. So here's the thing. It's so weird to me that whenever 49er players come out and they defend Jimmy Garoppolo, there's this subset of fans that are like, see, on the outside, you don't know what you're talking about. But then when anybody ever says anything glowing about Trey, that same subset is, well, they're still not committed to the kid, and he's still not better than
actions speak louder than words.
Pick a side. Just because when they say the same things that they say about Jimmy, and all they can say about Jimmy Garoppolo is leader. Oh, he's a great leader. He's great for the locker room.
Yeah.
You hear Fred Warner say he was making plays. He was making us look bad, but the kid's not ready. And Jimmy's got to stay.
Jimmy's never made that defense look bad. Jimmy makes that defense look good.
Thank you.
Jimmy's such a good leader that he pumps up the confidence of his own defense by throwing picks every day.
What a leader, man. That's intangibles you can't. Yeah, selfless. So it's so funny to me that whenever there's quotes about Jimmy Garoppolo, let's say it's Kittle, let's say it's Warner, let's say it's anybody. Yeah, he's a great leader. Everybody's like, you see, leader. Then Trey Lance is actually playing, and they're like, man, he's making us look bad. Yeah, that kid's not ready, man. It's like you guys have to start thinking logically now at this point and knowing that you're on one side and trying not to like the kid.
I want to bring this back to something we were talking about earlier. Okay, so Trey Lance needs to win over his team and his coaches. But you said something earlier that was so fucking right on, and we got to bring this back. It's a lot on Kyle, too. Kyle, when you go out there and let Trey Lance do play action and get out of the pocket and actually throw down the field, he looks great. When you put him in the shotgun and say, hey, play like Jimmy Garoppolo, it's not going to necessarily look as good. So a lot depends on how Kyle sets up Trey Lance for success in these practices. Do you play to his strengths or his weaknesses? Is this an opportunity for him to look good or to look bad? That's a lot on Kyle. Yeah.
In the same way, you're not asking Jimmy Garoppolo to throw deep balls because he turns arm punts.
Because why? When you do that, his trade value goes down. We got to be nice about Jimmy or else people might think we don't like him. Everyone knows you don't like him. Trey Lance is on the team. But I think you kind of need to do a little bit of that with Trey. Set him up for success.
And here's what's funny, too. Let's correlate this to Robert Griffin. Okay. Robert Griffin was forced on the Washington football team at the time. We all know that they love Kurt, right? But what did Kyle do? Did Kyle make him run things that were, Jesus, it's like raining outside. Did Kyle make him run Kirk Cousins stuff? Or did he import so much of the Baylor offense?
Yes.
And what did RG3 do in his first year? Oh, right. Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yes.
Now, let's correlate that to Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo's 5 games of 2017, which got him paid.
Yes.
He didn't ask him to digest the Shanahan playbook. No. He took Patriots concepts and said, boom, here's some easy stuff that I need you to run. And you know what? Go out there and ball, man. Just go out there and play. Let's see what we got. Why aren't you doing the same things with Trey? So realistically, this is what this offense is going to look like with Trey. Run. Maybe a few passes here and there. You're going to limit Trey Lance in passing, and it's just not necessarily going to beat things. You do everything. You do the Jimmy gimmies. You give Jimmy all the quick throws to the sideline where Deebo just catches it and takes it 80 yards. Takes a lot of skill to get those passes off. It's tailor the game to the kid. Make him work on things.
Yes.
Make him work on things, but put him in position to be successful, man, at this point.
Yes. Call his best play. Like, what were Trey Lance's 3 best plays of all of last year?
The Deebo throw, the Deebo throw, the long one over the side where he gets to his spot, like he got to roll out and step
against
into
Houston. The Deebo throw against Seattle, and the Trent Sherfield throw in the playoff in the preseason. I mean, I think all 3 were play action rollouts.
Moving.
To me, Trey Lance has the potential to be the most dangerous quarterback in the league when you get him on the perimeter, because his combination of throwing ability and speed is unmatched. I mean, he's faster than Josh Allen. In the pocket, he's not going to be the greatest quarterback in the league, but when you get him on the perimeter, wow, he really puts a defense in a bind. He makes you defend every freaking blade of grass. So yeah, if Kyle can call a couple of those every practice, I think it'll be
and let's not get it twisted at all. He needs to improve in the pocket. He does, because you're not going to be able to win that exact way. Like, we're not saying that this whole thing should just be something like that. He does need to improve in the pocket. There's development, though, for that, and there's room for growth in that. It's like the book is already closed on him being able to develop in the pocket. It's too late. After 10 quarters, everybody knows the kid's a bust already at this point.
Over.
This is it. He can't develop.
As if pocket passing doesn't have everything to do with experience.
Yeah, right. So, again, he does need to grow in that aspect. But at the same time, there are ways to get him going. Like a basketball player who is struggling and he's shooting and he's missing. You get a layup to go through, you get a free throw, you see the ball go through the hoop, your confidence starts to rise. Again, all of those things go hand in hand. And that's why it's so hard to be a play caller. And that's why it's so hard to groom quarterbacks, because there is this balance of putting him in a position to succeed while having him improve on the things that you need to at this level.
All I know is that Kyle's been doing it for Jimmy Garoppolo for 5 years. He does it all the time. He does it in practices. He does it in games. And Jimmy's still inconsistent. But, like, Jimmy doesn't want to throw downfield, so Kyle doesn't make him. Kyle doesn't call the play. Jimmy doesn't want to line up under center and do play action, so Kyle doesn't call it. He's like, all right, I'll try to set you up to look as good as you possibly can. All right, do that for Trey. Do that for Trey. It's not like, oh, we want Jimmy to work on throwing downfield, so every freaking throw in this practice is going to be a downfield throw. And just because he needs to work on his weaknesses, they don't do that for Jimmy.
So here's
don't do that.
One more thing to point out in camp. Okay. Deebo Samuel's across from Jason Verrett, and Deebo Samuel whips Jason Verrett, and he's running free down the field. Jimmy Garoppolo sees it. Yeah. Jimmy Garoppolo sees it, pats the ball, throws it up, and it's an arm punt. And Jason Verrett standing under it like this and catches it. That same practice at the end, and tell me, and this is how you know this man was feeling the heat. That same practice, everybody left. Jimmy Garoppolo stayed after. What was he working on?
The deep ball.
Oh, really?
Hey, man, in those training camp practices, when he would throw deep, all of a sudden, he would throw it, like, really high. He got the arc on those. What the hell was that? Was he trying something?
Deebo's running past the best cover corner on the team. Like, he's got him by, like, 5 yards.
Yeah.
Put it in the area code, and Deebo's going to be able to get it. He threw it, and Jason Verrett stops running and is like, and then Jimmy Garoppolo stays after practice because he's such a good leader and he has to work on his deep ball. He threw the ball a bunch.
What kills me is that people are trying to act like Jimmy Garoppolo could beat Trey Lance in a legit quarterback competition. The quarterback competition was not legit last year. You were there.
No.
Jimmy got all the reps. Like, Trey Lance had to have both arms tied behind his back. Dude, Jimmy could not beat Trey Lance in a legit quarterback competition. Not only that, I will go to my grave believing that Jimmy couldn't beat Nick Mullins in a legit quarterback competition.
Oh, that would
I could be wrong about that. But I've watched so much Jimmy, man. Like, he won't throw down the field. He throws hella picks. At least Nick Mullins has no hesitation, maybe to his own detriment. Nick Mullins will air that. Why did George Kittle have such a great year in 2018? Because Nick Mullins was relentless throwing the ball.
He processes faster. He processes faster than Jimmy.
I mean, he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL, but I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo is either. If you take Kyle Shanahan away from Jimmy Garoppolo, it's not going to look good. It's going to look like Nick Foles in Jacksonville. I'm waiting for that.
Oh, wow. I think Jimmy's a starter. Like, if he gets into Ben McAdoo's system in Carolina, that's a lot of quick passing and everything as well, too. So
I'd love to see Jimmy do it. Prove me wrong, Jimmy.
You have to give Kyle Shanahan credit. He's fooled so many people into, like, putting Jimmy Garoppolo in this tier that makes no sense. And that's not everybody. Rational fans know that Jimmy Garoppolo is a mid-tier starter. Like, Cousins, Carr, Mayfield, Tannehill. He's in that group. Those are starters.
His fans try to point to his completion percentage. They look like he's one of the. He's Drew Brees, dude. If he's Drew Brees, how come the team is afraid to let him throw? Why does he throw so many picks? Why does he throw so few touchdown passes? What is the deal here?
There's a difference between accuracy and completion percentage. If a guy catches a pass off of his feet, it's a completion, but that's not accurate. Drew Brees would throw it to the place where the guy had a chance to catch it and go and didn't have to reach back for it or reach up for it. Like, there's a difference between completion percentage and accuracy, and I wish people would stop citing that to me.
Thank you. Justin says, what will be Trey's full year total rushing, passing, TDs, and completion percentage? That's interesting. Let's see if we can give our best guess.
I've seen some really outlandish takes about this. I saw one guy say 4,500 passing, 700 rushing.
No,
dude. You know that Josh Allen threw for 42. You know Josh Allen threw for 4,200 last year. Like, what are you thinking? Like, let's relax a little bit. Let's relax.
You think he'll? Okay, well, do you think he'll eclipse 4,000 passing yards?
No,
I don't think he will either. I mean,
and he doesn't have to.
He doesn't have to. I don't think he will. What about rushing?
600 yards.
I was going to say more than 500.
Yeah, 600.
Okay, so he'll have more than 4,000 yards total.
Yes.
Okay.
He'll throw for 3,600. He'll run for 600.
700.
Yeah. He'll throw 24 touchdowns and he'll rush in 7. Who would be mad at that?
How about interceptions?
Probably throw about 11, 12.
I was going to say 8 or 9. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious. I want to see if he can throw fewer picks than Jimmy running the same offense. I think what we're going to see is more explosion, fewer turnovers. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong, because I mean that's what he did at North Dakota State, right? Well, this is a whole different thing.
I wouldn't be shocked if they ran the ball more than ever, especially with him, right? So his attempts are going to go down in terms of with Jimmy Garoppolo. And depending on game script in certain games, if the 49ers are in a close game, then they won't have to throw, or if they're blowing people out, they won't have to throw. So I just suspect that there'll be more running more than anything, and just to ease the kid in. And I think that that's somewhat wise.
Yeah, I mean, think about, like, they have 5 different running backs plus Lance and Deebo. So many different ways to run the ball. 11-on-11 football. This is a team that should average 5 yards a carry and gain 3,000 yards. And teams are going to be pulling their hair out trying to figure out how to stop all of it. And all of a sudden, play action, shot over the top. It should work. I don't know how great they'll be on third down, but Kyle's whole thing is to avoid third down anyway, to avoid the red zone anyway. I mean, now you should be able to do it. Yeah, he should be the best play action team in the league.
And Jimmy took a little bit of a step back on third down this year, but he still was pretty good there. He just wasn't as money as he was in 2019 or in 2017. So, I mean, yeah, there's that. See, I could say something nice about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, he is at his best. Well, his skill set is made for third down. I don't know what I was going to say.
Third and short.
Oh, the Niners should be they're built to be the best running team in the league and the best play action team in the league. They're built for that. So I think I don't really know what the numbers will be for Trey Lance, but he could be part of that. Corey says, I see video of Tua Fields. Zach, where's Lance? Niners withholding because once Lance shows out, it's over. Good Lance equals no Jimmy value. That was one of the theories we pointed to. That there's, because they really are living in this fantasy land where Jimmy Garoppolo is worth something. So
how many of the national media guys who now all of a sudden know exactly what was happening, but they were only there for one day? There was one day that NFL Network and a bunch of national media guys were there, and that was the day Kyle Shanahan unleashed the zone read, and Trey was dominating. And there were certain people that walked out saying it's over, competition's over, competition's done. So kind of funny how things kind of played out last year.
All of a sudden they're like, you
gotta bring the competition closer. How do you do that? You make him try to do things that Jimmy Garoppolo's good at, and that's what you point to and say, yeah, this is why we can't run with the kid.
That's right. All right, last topic, and it's a Jimmy topic. Will Jimmy Garoppolo ever step on a field in a 49ers uniform again? Keep in mind, he already said goodbye to the media. He said, thank you so much. You guys have been great. Goodbye. Brock Purdy said he's heard from Nate Sudfeld, Trey Lance, not Jimmy Garoppolo. Everything Jimmy Garoppolo, he's not organizing practices like he has in the past. Everything he's doing is basically saying, like, let me go. Emancipate me from this team. Do you think he'll ever step foot on this field again?
Well, to be fair about the practices thing, he can't throw right now. He can't throw anything right now. So like that makes the practice portion I'm not going to look too far into, but I don't think he does. I'm
just saying, like, Trey Lance came to rookie minicamp just to watch. Jimmy's not in town. I don't know where Jimmy is. So, I mean, it's little things like that. Like Trey Lance is like, can I please lead this team? And Jimmy's like, can I please not?
Well, Jimmy also, again, he's probably going through his surgery right now, going through his rehab, all that stuff, and he needs to get ready for his next team, which is why basically that leads you to the answer. I don't think so at all. The 49ers have basically until like the 72nd hour right before Sunday of week 1 where they can cut him. If he passes his physical, you get the $25 million. And then you know what? If you decide to roll that over, you can. Or does that put you in position to make a trade for someone that can help your playoff roster this year because you have all this extra money? But I don't think he does. I just don't think he does at this point. It's writing on the wall in terms of personnel changes, in terms of what things look like now, how the offense is going to operate. I just don't see how you can put this team or Trey Lance through it again. If they run it back and Jimmy Garoppolo stays on this team and starts, then it is 100% an indictment on how they feel about Trey Lance. And that will be the worst part because you sent everything for Trey Lance. If you stayed at 12 and you took Mac Jones, no one would be upset. No one would be upset. But you moved up to 3, and that's why nobody wanted Mac at 3, and you wanted the home run. You traded all of those assets, and you might as well have stuck at 12, took the kid, kept your first rounders, and built around him, around Mac. So that's the part that's going to be the hardest to digest. I just don't think that happens at all.
I think John Lynch has this fantasy that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to pass his physical in July and be ready to throw in like 2 months, and that the trade market's going to pop back up as if there was one. Because he keeps saying, like, look, we were this close to freaking trade. Even though he said there were no offers for Jimmy, now he says we were really close to trading Jimmy, but this unexpected surgery kind of derailed all of it. I think they're holding on to the fantasy that he'll pass a physical and someone will trade for him before camp, and they'll avoid all of this. But as you pointed out earlier in the show, any team that might even consider trading for Jimmy Garoppolo might want to see him grow in the preseason game.
They got to see him throw the football. They got to see him throw the football.
Because as you pointed out, like, he might not be as accurate as he used to be. A shoulder injury, this could affect the one thing that he has going for him. It's not like he had arm strength beforehand, so this could be a big deal. Teams are going to want to see it. And Matt Mayoko just wrote this article. I've been saying it on this channel for a while. Like, it's risky to have a competition to let Jimmy Garoppolo go on a practice field, let alone a preseason game, because what you want to do is eventually either trade him to a team not of his choice or make him like take a big pay cut because he's your backup. Well, he could just say, I got hurt in, practicing, competing for this job. And now you owe me all the money. Like, it could happen in a preseason game. The Niners are hoping another quarterback gets hurt. So a team gets desperate and they trade Jimmy. For sure. Dude, Jimmy's the quarterback that's most likely to get hurt. He's the quarterback who's made of glass. I'm sorry. So that's a dangerous game. And his agent's pretty clever. Just saying.
There's only one team that there's even a landing spot for him at this point, and that's Carolina. And the only thing that's keeping the door open is that there's whispers that they're still going to be in on a veteran because, what if they get to whatever it is, OTAs, and you start to see Sam Darnold again, and you're like, yeah, this guy stinks. Yeah. And you don't want to turn it over to
much better or isn't
right.
Better
you don't want to turn it over to Matt Corral, right? Because let's face it, Matt Rule doesn't care about Matt Corral's development. If Matt Rule doesn't start winning games this year, he's fired. Yeah. So maybe, and let's be also clear, Jimmy Garoppolo does not make the Carolina Panthers a playoff team. Okay.
But let's be clear, if the Niners were to cut Jimmy Garoppolo today, Carolina might sign him.
They might sign him. Yeah. They'll sign him for
so that's the deal the Niners are doing. Okay, we still think you want him. If we cut him, you're going to go there. So let's hold on.
Like for like a deal that Trubisky got, $9 million, something like that. Like there's no way that he's going to get anything near what he's gotten, right? So the other scenario that you laid out is a fringe playoff team. And I'm just going to throw this team out, the Saints. Let's just say Jameis Winston goes down, unfortunately, and he played great last year. The Saints still feel, now that they've added Jarvis Landry, they've added Olave, they still feel.
Who I think is every bit as good as Jimmy, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hot take. You still need two guys, though. So if Dalton is your guy, then Jimmy's a guy that you think has a little bit more pedigree and has done a little bit more now, right? And you use him. But then if it's Dalton and who? Dalton and Trevor Siemian, Dalton and Taysom Hill, like you still need another guy. So it's got to be a fringe playoff team because Jimmy isn't taking a 4-win team and taking them to the playoffs. He's taking a 4-win team and they'll win 5 games. That's the difference. Like Carolina making a move for him, it doesn't save Matt Rule's job unless Jimmy Garoppolo has like some rookie of the year bounce back where he's Henry Rowan-Gardner and can throw the ball harder than he ever has or all of a sudden develop this rocket
arm. But let's be honest. Like if we had Matt Rule on the show right now, I'd be like, Matt, you don't want to do this because
he doesn't want to do it.
you don't want to do this because first of all, Jimmy probably won't play much. That's the thing. Whatever Jimmy might be able to do for you and your job security, he probably isn't going to play much. That's his track record. So
yeah,
and then you're screwed. So you really because you're putting your job security in the hands of Jimmy Garoppolo's durability. Like, wow, that's not what you want to do. That's not what you want to do at all.
He's a winner, though. He's a leader.
Would you want your job to depend on Jimmy Garoppolo staying healthy? Oh my God. Oh my God. No.
It's a move. It's a move to pitch your veterans in that locker room that you're trying to win, that you're not here. Like, and again, Matt Rule's trying to save his job. Now, whether he
isn't that what so-and-so who's it Doug Marrone did in Jacksonville with Nick Foles?
Yeah.
Bring in Nick Foles.
Just he's there, steady the hand, everything, right? And for me, it's just more Matt Rule. You're not going to save your job by winning 4 games with Sam Darnold and winning 5-6 with Jimmy Garoppolo. That's not going to instill the confidence in them to say
he needs to win 9. He needs to make the playoffs this year.
You need to make the playoffs. You need to make the playoffs. Jimmy Garoppolo is not taking the Carolina Panthers from 4 or 5 wins to 9-10. No way. No
very
chance.
Few NFL head coaches historically who have missed the playoffs their first 3 years as head coaches and not gotten fired. There's been some, but not very few. Very few.
Right. You have to be part of the plan, right?
Yep.
Kyle Shanahan didn't come out of the gates firing, but he's part of the plan. You invested in the plan. Matt Rule's had long enough. There was a long while right before.
And to Kyle's credit, he made the Super Bowl his 3rd year, so he kind of like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
With
Jimmy.
So like with Matt Rule, he was at the Senior Bowl and largely was thought of as one of the best coaches. How quickly that perception changed after 1 year, and now all of a sudden you are on the outs and you feel like a lame duck right now at this point. The only other place I could see, and again, the same thing happens here with this team, Houston. Now, let's say Casario just says, you know what, man, bring my boy back. I drafted him. He can turn this team from a 4-win team to a 6-win team, but you have a guy that you can sell to your fan base because, oh my God, that Houston fan base would eat up that jawline, eat up that guy, selling them Subway sandwiches real quick. Even though Davis Mills played very well last year, they still would be a team that could sell tickets based on the Jimmy Garoppolo name because of their fan base. So that's different. And Lovie Smith's not coming back next year.
Here's what's going to happen. Is this – I already bet my dad that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be on the team week 1, so I'm not deviating from that. But if the Niners really feel like – because that would be insane. If the Niners feel like they need to like find a way out, what they could do is trade him for like a 7th-round pick and pick up some of his money just to say that they traded him, in which case you should have just named Trey Lance the starter from the beginning because that's, just giving him away. But they could do that. We got a 7th.
7th-round pick, I would just wait for him to pass the physical and cut him so I can get the full $25 million. That 7th-round pick's not going to turn into anything, and you're still going to have to foot the bill for him in some way. For me, I'm not taking anything. If it's a 3rd, I don't feel great, but I feel better, and I'm not taking that 7th. I would rather just
don't see how they cut him after insisting all offseason on the record that they're not going to cut him. How do they do that? Hey, we changed our mind.
They've admitted mistakes. They traded up for Dante Pettis. Love Dante Pettis, man. He's going to be here. You know what? He's not that good anymore, man. I don't really like him. So it's like, hey, look, they reverse course on many things.
What were the Bears thinking on that one? Do you think Dante makes it? They have the worst wide receiver group in the league, so maybe he's got a chance.
They have one wide receiver, Darnell Mooney, I think, is the baller, but then they have a smooth cast of wide receiver 4s. Pringle and Pettis and Jesus, man. Poor Justin Fields, man. If you guys think that's all on Justin, man, please.
You just made Dante Pettis' day calling him a wide receiver 4. He was like, really? You think so?
I think so.
I would. That's a stretch. I think he's a.
Isn't Bears part of the? Aren't Bears part of the Cap family?
Yes.
No. Yes.
It's what he needed. Good luck, Catman. Good luck. All right, Jason, man. That's the show. Thanks for filling in for Vish. Vish is MIA today. Now he's around somewhere. But it's been a while for me.
Oh, damn, it is Monday. No wonder. I'm like, what the hell am I getting this call for?
Hanging out with his sister or something. Oh, no, I can't. I can't. He's unaccounted for.
That damn Vish talking crazy to me about the Yankees like they're not the best team in baseball while they're kicking the hell out of the White Sox in this town.
Yeah, what do you know about that, Vish?
What you know about that? Get owned.
Doesn't matter. All right, man. Thanks for watching. Right. I'll be back. See you.